My name is Kim Kiwoo, and I lived with my family in a cramped semi-basement apartment in Seoul, where we folded pizza boxes for spare money and struggled to make ends meet. My father, Ki Taek, drove occasionally. My mother, Chung Suk, cleaned when she could find work, and my sister, Ki Jung, was brilliant with computers and art, though none of us had proper credentials or stable employment. One day, my friend Min Hyuk visited our basement home and brought us a scholar's rock, a traditional symbol meant to bring wealth and prosperity to our family. He was leaving to study abroad and asked me to take over his position as an English tutor for a wealthy family's daughter, Dahai, someone he had romantic feelings for and trusted me to teach without complications. Min Hyuk suggested I could lie about my qualifications to get the position with the Park family, who lived in a beautiful modern house designed by a famous architect. My sister helped me forge a university certificate from a prestigious institution, and I presented myself as a qualified tutor named Kevin when I met Mrs. Park for the first time. She was kind but somewhat naive, easily impressed by credentials and recommendations, and she hired me immediately after seeing my forged documents. During my time tutoring Dahai at their magnificent home, I learned that Mrs. Park was searching for an art therapist for her young son Da Song, who had experienced some kind of traumatic episode that left him troubled. I saw an opportunity and quickly recommended my supposed friend Jessica, who was actually my sister Ki Jung, pretending to be a professional art therapist with expertise in helping children. Ki Jung arrived at the Park house and impressed Mrs. Park with her confident performance and invented credentials, securing the position despite having no real training in therapy or art education. She then noticed that the Park's driver seemed inappropriate and devised a plan to frame him by making it appear he had engaged in improper conduct in the family's luxury vehicle. After placing evidence in the car that suggested misconduct, the driver was dismissed, and Ki Jung recommended her supposed uncle, who was actually our father Ki Taek, as a replacement driver for Mr. Park. The plan was working perfectly, and soon my father was employed by the wealthy family, driving their expensive car and wearing a professional uniform. The final piece of our scheme involved removing Moon Gwang, the longtime housekeeper who had worked in the house since the architect who designed it lived there, knowing every corner and secret of the building. Ki Jung discovered that Moon Gwang was severely allergic to peaches and used this information to convince Mrs. Park that the housekeeper was suffering from a contagious illness, creating fear and urgency about her health. Mrs. Park became alarmed and dismissed Moon Gwang, hiring my mother Chung Suk as the replacement housekeeper, which meant our entire family was now employed in the Park household under false identities. During this time, I developed genuine romantic feelings for Da Hee, and we shared moments together that made me imagine a future where I could truly belong in their world. When the Park family left for a camping trip, we had the entire mansion to ourselves, and my family celebrated our successful infiltration with food and drinks from the Park's expensive collection. I confessed to my family that I had fallen in love with Dahai, and we enjoyed the luxury of the house as if it were our own. Our celebration was interrupted when the doorbell rang, and Moon Gwang appeared claiming she had forgotten something important in the basement. My family hid while my mother let her inside, and we watched as Moon Gwang revealed a hidden entrance to a secret underground bunker that the architect had built beneath the house. Inside the bunker was Moon Gwang's husband, Gyun Sai, who had been hiding there for 4 years to escape from loan sharks, and he turned out to be the mysterious figure that Da Song had seen and called a ghost, which had traumatized the young boy. Moon Gwang begged my mother to let Gyun Sai continue living in the secret space, but we were eavesdropping and accidentally revealed ourselves as a family, exposing our entire deception. Moon Gwang quickly filmed us calling each other by family terms and threatened to send the evidence to the Parks, which would destroy everything we had built. The situation became desperate when the Parks called to say they were returning early because a severe rainstorm had ruined their camping plans. We rushed to hide all evidence of our presence and managed to subdue Moon Gwang and Gun Se in the basement, though Moongwang was injured during the struggle. We escaped from the house and ran through torrential rain back to our neighborhood, only to discover that our semi-basement apartment had been completely flooded with sewage water, destroying what little we owned. We spent the night in a gymnasium shelter with other displaced families, carrying only the scholar's rock that Min Hyuk had given us. Meanwhile, Moongwang suffered from her head injury in the bunker, while Gun Sai remained trapped below. The next day, Mrs. Park organized an impromptu birthday party for Da Song in their garden, and my family returned to work at the house while pretending nothing unusual had happened. I decided to go down to the bunker with the scholar's rock, intending to confront Gun Sai and end the threat he posed to our situation. When I entered the underground space, I discovered that Moongwang had already passed from her injuries, and Gun Sai attacked me, striking my head with the heavy rock and leaving me unconscious. Gun Sai then emerged from the basement into the garden party and harmed Ki Jung in front of the horrified guests. Da Song saw Gun Sai and suffered a seizure, recognizing him as the ghost from his traumatic memory. My mother stopped Gun Sai during a struggle at the party while my father tried to help Ki Jung. But Mr. Park's reaction to the smell of poverty on Gun Sai caused my father to snap after enduring subtle reminders of our class difference. My father fled the scene while I remained unconscious from my head injury. I eventually woke up after brain surgery and a long recovery period, learning that Ki Jung had not survived her injuries. My mother and I faced legal consequences but received probation, while my father remained missing and wanted by authorities. Months later, I observed the Park house from a distance and noticed a light flickering in a pattern, which I recognized as Morse code. My father had hidden himself in the secret bunker and was sending messages hoping I would see them. I wrote him a letter promising that someday I would earn enough money to purchase the house and free him from his underground prison, though I remained living in another semi-basement apartment with my mother, back where we started.